in digital content. We need to introduce a lot more services to meet the needs of the people. But one problem that we are going to have to tackle is most of these services that are introduced online, if they need payment has to be made via credit card. And if our idea is to take all these services to the people, we need to get around this credit card, or we need to find a way that rural people can also pay for these services. Then the content itself has to be alive, evolving, and growing. So the projects have to be sustainable. Unfortunately, today, I don't think majority of the people in our country would be willing to pay for any of this content or knowledge. So it's going to be tough to keep these content projects up and running. Then finally, we have to keep abreast of the rapidly changing technologies around us. Like Madan was saying, and speakers before me, things are changing around us all the time. The way we shop, the way we search for information, even the way we interact with others, with our friends, family, it's changing all the time. We need to keep abreast of these changes so that our content also, our services also keep changing accordingly. Mobile penetration in Sri Lanka, which was just 11% in 2004, is 80% today, meaning that the mobile is going right down to the rural population. So we have to address how we are going to deliver content and services through the mobile, and we have to gear our content to fit. We have to make sure that the mobile user gets the same response that he was used to from his laptop or his desktop. And again, with the mobile, we would need to rethink our language issues. We don't want to kill our languages with people SMSing using the Sinhala language. We'll automatically find nobody knows to use Sinhala words, and you're just typing it all in English. You're using English language also in bits and pieces, killing the English language also in the process. So maybe we need to address the language-related issue as well. So there is a lot more to get done, and a lot more that a single organization cannot do by itself. And we look forward to going ahead with all the other organizations in our effort to take the dividends of ICT to every village and every citizen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The language issue, I listened to Osama's presentation. The automatic choice for language was English. And when in your presentation you were emphasis, not that we should develop, we should develop on our language as well. But I think, they want to go globally. If you want to go globally, you have to go have it in English. So, having in Sinhala, for example, even some people may not even understand. The Sinhala people who have read will not understand the words in Sinhala. So my question is that you should, on the language issue, I should rethink on the language issue and see that, even the rural community, for example, if you go on a Middle East flight, the common language between the housemates who speak Tamil and Sinhala is not Tamil or Sinhala, it's Arabic. Or some of them may converse in English. So what I would say is that you should really go in and see that the English is, because the content available, the source of information available, about 80% is in English. The rest are with other different languages. So if somebody wants to access from a rural village, the internet, to get some sort of information, they probably have to go in English, not in Sinhala. They may able to communicate. A lot of Sri Lankans can understand English. Only thing, they find it very difficult to converse in English. So that's the difference I saw in Osama's presentation. They want to go globally. He want to bring saris and sell here. Okay, so we also like to go globally, so we should be rethink ourselves in that respect.
Can I also ask the question from media?
Yeah, shall I? Okay, for those who didn't hear the question, it was largely in relation to providing access to people with disabilities, whether there was physical access available at Nanosalas, and if there was any software that was developed, and if any of the 200 projects I talked of provided for disability. Yes, disability was one of the key areas that was addressed through the e-society program. I cannot really speak for the Nanosalas whether it has special access for people with disabilities, but I do know some of our community-based projects which actually cater to those communities have made provision for physical access as well. In the area of software, I think we've done a lot. I'm really proud to say that one of the products that was developed through our program won a World Summit Award, which was for, I didn't talk of any of these projects this time because we've talked of it before and I thought it might be boring for people, but one of the things was, you know, a blind can never get to read a newspaper because newspapers don't come out in Braille. It would only come out as in a printed form, but now it's available online. You can read a paper online. You and I can, but not if you're blind. But we've got a software which converted the local language newspapers to Braille on the run virtually. You know, you take the cursor through it and it's connected to a Braille keyboard which keeps popping up and you read it line by line as you go along. And that was a product that won our Summit Award. Along with that, we have developed a series of, a suite of applications for teaching both deaf children and blind children to read and write. We also have a software for teaching sign language, not only to the deaf, but people like us. I mean, it's another language everybody should learn if you have to communicate with the deaf person because otherwise, it's a lonely life for a deaf person. He can only talk to another deaf person. I think, is even anything I left out? I mean, we've done a lot in that area anyway. There's a lot more information on our website, which is www.icta.lk. Under the e-society program, all our projects are listed.
Vijay Wardner, members of the ICT, members of the Telecommunication Regulatory Commission, ladies and gentlemen, greetings from ICANN. My name is Peter Dengate Thrush and I'm the chairman of the board of ICANN, and it's a great pleasure for me to be speaking to you today. My regrets are that I cannot be with you in person, but other business has kept me from Colombo, much to my regret. But thank you for this kind invitation to speak at the launch of ISOC's Sri Lankan chapter's INET. As I say, I would have loved to have been there because I've long wished to visit Sri Lanka, both for its natural beauty, but also because of the interesting work that groups like ISOC and ECTA are doing there. And I want to voice today my support for the goals of the Sri Lankan chapter. Under the general heading of the Internet for Everyone, which is the ISOC goal, Sri Lanka has some special goals resulting from its multicultural society, providing content in Tamil and Sinhala, and also providing IDNs in the languages or the scripts of Sri Lanka, Lanka and Langai. These goals reflect the interest that ICANN has in developing internet technologies to enable users of scripts other than English. Our internationalised domain name program has begun by introducing new country code domains, with great success in Russia, for example, using Cyrillic, several Arabic countries using the Arabic script, and of course more recently in China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, using the Chinese scripts. So we're delighted by the success of those and look forward to many more country codes joining, having their names in their own native scripts. I see the Sri Lankan chapter has put together an extraordinary program for the next few days with very high quality lineup of speakers. Just looking briefly at some of the work that you'll be doing, I'm so impressed. Work on undertaking and investigating and understanding social media, for example, the changes in the obligations of citizens to their communities, the ability of their communities to protect their privacy. Samples are very much samples of work that need to be done and that will be looked at by your speakers. Other speakers are looking at access issues, technology development and software, access for disabled people, and many more. These are vital topics, and it's work that's timely and certainly very necessary. And there's more. There's the work of mobile applications, digital identity, online safety, the deployment of our IPv6 numbering system for the address space. Again, all very critical topics. So well done to people for putting that together and attracting a very high calibre of speakers. And again, it's fitting that the session is being hosted in lovely Sri Lanka. I know that the government of Sri Lanka has been very keen and at the forefront of developments of the internet in Sri Lanka with an active ICT program, and we wish you very well in the continuation of that work as well. Let me tell you a little bit about progress with one of the major projects that ICANN has been undertaking for the last 5 or 6 years, which has been to expand the domain name space in general. One of the original parts of the ICANN mission when it was formed in 1998 was to bring competition and consumer choice in the domain name system. We began that back in 2000 by considerably opening up the registrar space, creating competition to become generic name registrars. And we saw the price of domain names drop from approximately $50 a year to $6 a year. And we're now moving into that same phase with competition at the registry level. And we're hoping to create the ability for many people to do generic registries to challenge the current 20-odd registries such as .com, .net and .biz. So we've been very concerned while we've been developing that program to protect rights, including intellectual property rights, and been working closely with governments, including that of Sri Lanka, and I recognise the work that Jayantha Fernando has been putting into that work to ensure that the rules that we make meet government concerns about public policy matters. And we just had a further meeting between the board of ICANN, which was meeting in retreat in Istanbul by teleconference with many members of the Government Advisory Committee on those issues, and made further progress. And we're moving down towards a vote on this topic on June the 20th at our Singapore meeting. So that will change the way the internet looks in a major way. You'll be expecting to see domain names such as, for example, .pizza or .beach or .movie or .wine, changing and expanding and creating greater consumer choice for many parties. And I just want to mention, of course, that may create many business opportunities for Sri Lankans. Sri Lankans will be able to compete for and run registries of interest to the Sri Lankan community. They can apply to become ICANN registrars to sell domain names all over the world. And of course, there may be further IDNs, some of those words in Sri Lankan scripts, all of which may be a development that's welcome in Sri Lanka. So let me say at the end, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I wish you all very well. I know it's going to be a fantastic couple of days, and my congratulations again to ISOC Sri Lanka for putting together this wonderful program. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
That was the chairman of ICANN, Mr. Peter Dengate Thrush.